Welcome to Which Side Do You Want, where we talk all things tennis. I'm your co-host, Ruffin Thornton, and I'll be joined by my good friend, James Skinner.
Unlike most tennis podcasts, we cover hot topics, from the lawns to the concrete, from the pros to the park, and all things in between. Welcome to Which Side Do You Want?
All right, welcome back, tennis and racket sport fans, to our podcast. James and I are happy to be back in front of you for the new 2023 year. So happy New Year, my brother. How you been?
I'm doing fine, Ruffin. Happy New Year to you. 2023.
2023.
Telling
you. Here we are. It's been a minute.
We are here.
Yeah. So anything going on? How first of all, how is the Monacan team going?
We are going well so far.
Right.
A few people we're doing conditioning, and hopefully when spring sports officially start, we'll have a few more players with us. But we have about a core of 8 boys who are coming in conditioning, working out, and doing drills. So it's coming. We'll see what we got in a month. We'll get to know what the real deal is.
Okay.
Got some tough competition though. The division is going to be tough, but we want to be competitive.
Okay. Well, good luck to you. I hope everything does go well.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it, man.
Right.
Looking forward to it.
Okay. Yeah, something that you probably don't know. I've been requested to give some lessons to a young lady who's going to be playing this pretty soon. So I'll have to work that out with her and figure out what we can do. Hopefully, I can help her out and advance her own game. So
that's great.
We're going to be back on the tennis courts. So.
All right. Well, that's good. You got a good track record. You put a few kids into college with your skills, which is good.
Yeah.
Some more in there.
I can't. I've been happy to help, and I found out as I've gotten older and not playing as much that I do enjoy coaching. So I didn't think that I would as much as I have. So. I'm pretty thankful to be able to participate in that.
Most definitely.
But let's jump right to it. So right now, normally our segment, one of the first things that we talk about is our current events. Well, our current events right now is the Australian Open. But before we get started with the Australian Open, let's talk about a couple things briefly that have happened since the last time we were last in front of our audience. So last year at the end of December, or actually the beginning of December, we lost one of the great tennis coaches, since we're talking about coaching.
Yes.
In Nick Bollettieri. He was one of those pioneering coaches that had no fewer than 3, if not more, number one players in the world that he directly coached, in players like Andre Agassi.
Exactly.
Jim Courier, both the Williams sisters, Monica Seles, and a few others. Just to name a few. But so we lost Nick Bollettieri. I wish we had more time today, or I would tell you a couple of stories where I've met him on several occasions and had some impressive stories to tell you.
I think, I met him also. So it's, he's an amazing person.
Yeah.
He changed the game.
He definitely
created modern tennis.
Absolutely. He really has. Yep. Some other things that happened while we were away. The United States, got to tip our hats to the United States team. Right. Won the inaugural United Cup. Can you imagine?
That was great.
That's a great team competition. We're going to have to spend more time on that during one of our later podcasts to talk about the great accomplishment that this men and women's team put together. This was the closest thing that we've had to an Olympic team with the format, and because there were 18 teams in 3 different cities in Australia, and it was a surprising success from what I've heard.
They played well.
Yeah.
They played very well. And I was just impressed. They took on some of the best players in the world, and they held their own and came out on top. It's great. Now, some people are talking about there was a little hangover after that, because a lot of those players did not make it out of the second week of Australian Open. Yeah. But they've played a lot of tennis, and that doesn't take anything away from what they did. Yeah. We're all proud of them, and they keep going. Team USA, that's what we've been talking about, boosting up Team USA.
And the Americans hadn't really done anything in a team fashion on both the men's and women's side in quite a long time. So
that's true.
This is pretty good.
True. And emergence of a few stars, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So a couple of other things on the professional side, we also had Carlos Alcaraz, our number one player. We were looking forward to seeing him play at this year's Australian Open. Had to back out due to injury, and it's his second injury that has caused him to miss some significant time. So we hope and wish him well, and that he has a speedy recovery.
I think he is going to have a very speedy recovery at 19 years of age.
At 19,
this kid, and he's already practicing on the clay. So Roland Garros, look out! Alcaraz is coming.
Yeah,
and it's going to be a whirlwind.
And it's going to be interesting. We'll have to mention that again in a future podcast.
Yes.
And one of the last things I want to talk about is we're going to miss the talents of Naomi Osaka. Because she announced her pregnancy, so she's going to miss all of 2023, and that kind of poses one of those things where we need to talk about it going forward. How unfair it is for women to stop their career to have a family, whereas guys don't necessarily have that same hang up, so to speak.
That's true. Well, we don't have to carry a child.
Right. We don't have to carry a child
for 9 months. So it might have a little something to do with it, but you're right. Protecting their ranking and sort of things that goes into being a tournament, those have always been called into question. And so, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
There's some interesting things to discuss with that.
Yeah, I agree. We need to, again, we want to hope Naomi has a successful pregnancy and
wish her all the best.
Wish her all the best. Enjoys the joys of being a mother, a new mother, and hopefully she comes back very strong. So.
We hope so. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But enjoy and all the best to her and Corday. And that's her
that's
boyfriend's name,
beau,
Corday, the rapper. So we're wishing the best for all of them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But let's jump right into it. Let's get to our main topic, the Australian Open. Ooh. We're in the beginning of the second week. Too many things to mention about what's going on, but it's been an exciting Australian Open thus far, at least for the Americans. We had, for the first time in a long time, we had so many Americans going past the second round.
Yes.
So let me pose this to you. What's been one of the most exciting things you've seen at the Australian Open?
There's, like you said earlier, Ruffin, there was just so many. The tennis is off the chain, and we've seen the emergence of some young stars of the future who I'm excited about. We got to see an old veteran still fighting. Andy Murray, he just let us know that, he's still here. Exactly. 3 years ago, we were thinking he had played his last Australian Open. And I mean, he has just come back and, his heart doesn't have an age, man. His heart is just still as vibrant. And it was exciting to see him play and get through a few rounds. And then also with that, we saw a few other young stars that have emerged. Oh, the big upset. First of all, was Mackie McDonald taking out Ruffin Nadal.
But that was, we're gonna put a caveat to that, not to discredit Mackie's win, but that was mostly due to that hip injury. So we got to keep that in mind.
That's true.
That's true. And Nadal being Nadal. What was those scores? Those scores
fought
were
to
tight.
The end. It. He's going to fight anyway.
It may have been a straight set victory, but
it was a hard one.
It wasn't like he lost 0-1 in one.
Right. Right.
Nadal was still battling for every point, even though he was clearly hampered in his movement.
Yeah, and it also took a toll on McDonald because in that next round he was hurt against Nishioka, the one person you don't want to be hurt playing
because he's staying out there.
That's right, like ever ready bunny, man. He's gonna,
getting everything back. Not a whole lot of power, but just enough to make you hit another ball.
That's right.
Shoot. Yeah. So do you have any other surprises that occurred that's occurred thus far?
Yeah, you had a few other upsets in the tournament, but I would think the one that we had that stands out outside of the fact that the loss of Medvedev and also to a disappointment, Taylor Fritz going out. He was my dark horse. I thought he was going to definitely get into the second week, and I thought he actually had a chance to make it to his first Grand Slam semifinals,
Right.
at least, and possibly a finals.
Especially
He had
with
been
Nadal
playing so
out.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, France. Felix Aliaga-Asim.
Yeah, that was a bit of a surprise,
That
but
was a surprise. Him going.
he lost to Laheka, right?
Yes. Who is playing lights
well,
out?
right?
Oh my
we
gosh.
haven't heard from this guy before, but
he's a Czech player.
Czech Republic, 20 years old, so and can handle about. Both of his parents are athletes. So that was. You could see why he's a good player.
Yeah.
But he came out of nowhere because I don't recall hearing about him so much last year.
Boy, but he is playing
he's
lights
playing.
out, and he has that. These young players are coming up now. They just have no fear. They're not the moment does not put them back. They're not. They go out there. They have this expectation. I'm going to beat you, and I'm going to win. And it's that Holger Rune and all these young players are coming out, and you're going to be talking about another one. But also we'll talk about your boy.
Yeah, I'm happy for my boy Sevi because he came out with two.
Wow.
He took out Medvedev, which you just mentioned. Yes. And he hung in there tough to take out Herzog.
Looked good. I mean, and that was a tough match. I mean, he had several moments, but he just hung in there and just, I mean, his skill sets are coming up to this, and he is going to be, I think, like you said a long time ago. Get hats off to you. You called this one a long time ago, but this kid he could be the real deal, and he could definitely get into the semifinals. And if he gets into the semifinals with the draw opened up as it is. Who knows?
Absolutely.
Who knows?
I agree. Since we're on that kick, his next round opponent is Karen Khachanov, who took out Francis.
Yep. Who?
And the thing about Korda that I like in that, so when we were at this year's U.S. Open, I could see the consistency in his game, but you could also see some of the mental. Because he's he's a South Floridian, because that's where his father ended up landing after his retirement, and he's got a laid back attitude, like as if he were Californian,
right?
So you could see on the court how that might translate, and not. It seems like he's not really trying because he's smooth, everything so smooth, and everything seems to be easy. He's got easy power off both sides. It doesn't look like he's doing anything with a whole lot of effort, but he's really giving his all, and you don't really see that. And you didn't when I saw him play live at the Open last year. I could see that it started to bother him when he was losing to opponents that he was clearly favored to win.
Right.
I mean, you think about it. He's a seed in this year's Australian Open at 29. So he's got some expectations to go along with the other players.
Yeah. And you know what? It's so funny. You know who's one of his coaches now is Radek Stepanek.
Yeah, I know.
Who Radek Stepanek, who was coached by his father,
right?
And I think that Stepanek was that player that nobody wanted to play,
right?
And he was that very smart. He didn't have he wasn't the most gifted tennis player, but he knew how to play the game. He understood the game. He could just frustrate so many players. And him adding that addition to his team, I think I've noticed, since Stepanek has come on board, that his results, are just more solid.
Yeah.
And he's more into the game mentally, focused. I think Stepanek helps him with that focus. Oh, yeah. And it's kind of reminiscent of when the young Andre Agassi
I knew you were about to say it.
Picked up by the
Brad,
Brad Gilbert, the winning Ugly. What a great combination. Right. You have a player who has all of these natural gifts, fluid, with somebody who didn't have them but had that up here, had to take so what better person to put you in to coach you and work with you, because you already got all, all
the other
now
tools.
all the intangibles, to be tough it out on the court, and so it looks like there's a good team, and he's, looks great.
Yeah, I'm hoping for some good results because like you said, I like him, and I just there's something that I saw when I saw him. I said this at the Washington Open, which is the one in DC. What is it?
Capitol.
We can't remember. We're old. Anyway, the one in DC.
Yeah, in DC.
In the U.S. Open Series.
And look, I got this Ben's Chili Bowl. I should be shy, man. I DC. Okay, but anyway.
So when I saw Zverev, I said that's going to be of the young guns to crack and get to a Grand Slam and win a Grand Slam final before a team actually won. I said that Zverev was going to win a Grand Slam first before Aaron. And I was close. You know, he lost to team in that final couple years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw, whatever I saw in team, I also saw in Sebastian. So
yeah. And so many things go into making that player, and all of the tangibles, the skill set, the tennis acumen, he's got it all.
Mm-hmm.
He's got it all. And now he needs an opportunity, a break and a draw, these little things. And once that type of player, once they get in there and they get the taste of it, they get to a semifinals or they get to a finals.
Right.
It could be the beginning of
something good.
Something good.
Yeah. We just want to make sure that he stays hungry. That's the big difference.
Well,
since I mentioned hungry, your boy is, since you corrected us with his last pronunciation, they're now calling him Holger Rune.
Yes, Holger Rune.
Instead of we were saying Holger Rune.
Holger Rune. Well, that's because we're Americans,
right?
But they would pronounce it Holger Rune.
Rune. Yeah. Thanks to Caroline for
that
that correction.
Yeah, she told us that.
Your boy had, he's been playing lights out, but unfortunately, some of the results
but
today.
Let me tell you, that match was off the chain.
I got to see it.
Oh, you got to see it. And I mean, went right down to last set tiebreaker, and you might want to talk about the new format that they're doing with it, which was really interesting. But I think it adds so much because it just really keeps you on the edge. But they hit some shots. Both of them were going at each other.
Rublev.
Oh gosh, he and Rublev were just. And you're talking about two players, and we always talk about Rublev. He hits two balls, hard and harder. And but Holger Rune was up for the task, and I mean, he was down match points in that last set.
Okay,
and just hit shots out of the wazoo. It was just amazing to watch. And of course, Rublev wins it on a net court that dribbles over the net, and you could just see the air just come out of Rune, and Rublev just falls down and says, "I don't believe I just won it like this after we've been banging." And it was just, but that's the cruelness of the game. That happens.
Yeah, it happens.
But amazing match. Didn't take anything away from how great that match was.
Well, cool. We talked about our boys, So with the remaining favorites on both the men's and women's side, so let me pose this to you. We've got both men's and women's. We've got a lot of Americans still left.
Yes.
On the women's side, we still got Jessica Pegula. Yep. On the men's side, we've got my boy Korda. Also in the lower half, Ben Shelton playing against Tommy Paul in the next round.
That's going to be a good match.
Who do you have as a favorite? And so, again, like I said, I'm going to pose it to you. You want the women's or the men's?
I'll stay with the men and let you take the ladies this time. And I was just saying, favorite to come through. Well, of course, Djokovic is still looming. And his shadow is still there.
It's still there.
If he's healthy and everything goes well, I mean, you can't take him out of there.
Right.
And he's that player, he can lift himself up to whatever he needs himself to be. Mm-hmm. And he is probably one of the, if not the greatest tennis player. That's arguable. We've talked about that, but I'm just saying you can't not look at him.
Right.
And he is always going to be a favorite, as I consider it. And so things would have to happen in the draw. Maybe, who knows? But he even when he's physically not well, he finds a way to win.
Right.
He's just that player.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. And so he's one of the ones you want to look at. Then you also have, you have Rublev.
Yeah.
He came through a scare.
Right. He
is hungry. He has not. This is the farthest. I think this will be the farthest he's gone in the Grand Slam. If I'm not, I think he's got to a quarter. Has he got to quarters? Okay, quarters. So he's definitely he's put himself through a little sequence. So we shall see.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned both Rublev and Novak because they play in the next round.
Right. They play each other next round. So it's going to be interesting to see how they match up against each other. I think that Rublev, I'm not sure what his head-to-head record. I know he's a losing record to
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't? But will he be able to put all that out of his mind and go out there and play? And he knows, hey, brace yourself. You're going to be out there for a long time. You're going to have to earn this one.
Right.
When you play Djokovic, you have to earn it. And is he prepared to do that? After that match against Rune, possibly, but he's not playing Rune.
No,
he's playing the Joker.
He's playing the Joker. And the Joker just rolled in his last match. Yeah, okay. I think that score against who did he play? Do you remember? Let me look that up.
But so he's gonna, where is he at? We don't.
He played what should have been a tough match, especially considering the crowd. Alex de Minaur.
Oh, de Minaur, the local.
Considering again some of the backlash that Novak has had from last year's Australian, trying to get to play, and now allow him to play this year. He's trying to make a statement, and you would have thought that the crowd, I don't know, I didn't see the match, but the crowd could have been behind their home country player,
without a doubt,
and against Novak, but Novak eats that up for lunch.
That's and then really by his ability to play like that, the pressure gets on de Minaur.
Right.
Because now you're in front of your home crowd and you want to win that title so bad. Right. When was the last time an Australian man has won that event?
Oh, my goodness.
Thank you.
Probably not since the days of Pat Cash.
Exactly.
Or
Pat Cash didn't win it.
He didn't win it. Right.
But he wouldn't have been. I think we need to go back farther than that.
That might have been
the Rod
Laver side. Yeah.
Ken Rosewall or somebody. Yeah. But it's just it's very tough to do.
Yeah.
And and experience has a lot to do with it. And Djokovic's got experience.
Yeah.
He's the atmosphere doesn't faze him. He's gonna go out there and do his thing.
Yeah.
And so that then we have a few dark horses that could slip in there. And I would like to see how when some of these younger players come up, if them can step up.
Right.
Who knows? They get on a hot streak. It'd be interesting to see who pulls through Shelton and Tommy Paul.
Yeah.
You got two players. Tommy Paul has more experience. He's older.
Right.
But
Shelton. He's playing with house cards. House money now.
He's another one of those young guns, man. Right. The environment, he's not afraid, not intimidated. He loves the crowd. He kind of reminds me of Alcaraz in that event. He went the college route. Now I see more and more players are coming, are entering the pro ranks who have actually played a few years in college, which I think is good. It lets you know that you don't have to just, you can do a few years in college, and it's tough. His matches, I think that college comes out of him, because when you play collegiate tennis, you're used to going against crowds that are against you, and you turn that in college tennis, you can use that as your strength. You go, okay, you coming after me, watch me take your boy out. It's that kind of,
kind of mentality.
And he had a little bit of that in a couple of his matches. So, he might have to tone it down at some point, but but for him, it serves him well, and so it'd be interesting to see if he can slide through there.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And what about your predictions on Korda, or you still got Tsitsipas, Lumen, who are players that have maybe not so much Korda, although as an American player,
Korda,
he's had good results in slams.
Yes, and I think you cannot take him out of the picture, man. Right now, he has the confidence. He's got a great team behind him. He is healthy. They better watch out for this kid.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Tsitsipas, everybody, you better watch out. You better come in there ready to go, because this kid's ready and he's hungry. Yeah. So no, I would not take him out of the mix. And if he gets through the next round, all bets are off there. Yeah. He's already taken out some big.
If he can take out,
he's taking
catching off.
Yes, he's taking out some big guns already. So I mean, it's. I don't think you can overlook him at all. I think, to me, he's definitely a dark horse in my estimation.
Okay. Well, cool.
Yeah.
Well, let me talk about some of the women now.
Oh, man.
On the women's side, the final 8 on the women's side, you've got your favorites. Again, I mentioned this, Jessica Pegula. She's doing well. She's the high seed left in the tournament,
Number 3.
which is surprising considering that Sabalenka was at one point during last year, she was ranked number 2 in the world behind Iga.
But she lost. It's those points, though.
It's those points.
It's the points.
Jessica does have a tough next round match against a Grand Slam and former number 1 player in the world in Vika Azarenka. So, we got to she's going to have to bring her AA game. Vika's been warming up. This is one of her best events since returning after motherhood, to tell you the truth. I mean, she's always been able to get a couple wins here or there, take out a few players that she wasn't expecting. But this has been a really solid showing from Vika, and this would be I don't see this match being straight sets for Jessica if she pulls it out.
No.
It's going to go 3 if you ask me, but that depends on what kind of form that Vika's in, because she lost that first round match in the previous. She lost that first set, I should say, in that previous match against the Chinese player. I can't remember her name.
Yeah, Zhang.
Zhang.
But turn to serve. Return to serve.
Well, she's been solid.
Who can solid?
Yeah.
If you can get that break, whoever gets that first break controls everything. And they're, both of them rely on setting up, using the serve. They use the serve as power move, but this also sets up those big forehands. And so whoever can control that, tempo, I think that's going to be the one that has the best chance of coming out of that.
Yeah.
That's a toss-up because both of them bangers.
Yeah, I know.
But
and solid and steady. I mean, that's what Jessica's known for. You're not going to beat her. You're not going to hit her off the court, and she's not going to beat herself. You're going to have to beat her.
You got to beat her. Yeah. And now she's just the confidence just comes out of it. I think the United Cup really boosted her ego. Not her ego, but her confidence. I don't say ego, her confidence, because she's playing like a different player.
Right.
I mean,
some of her results have been just indicative of that. First round match, what was it, 0-1 against some unknown player. Later on in the tournament, I want to say her third round match, she gave someone else a bagel. So those scores are indicative of a player who is playing extremely confident tennis. So I know we're gonna be rooting for Jessica.
Yeah, we're pulling for. Pulling for.
Another player that I have my eye on, if you can't choose the highest remaining seed, I would say Ariana Sabalenka.
Okay.
Ariana, if you've ever seen her, some of her not specials, but some of the kind of interviews that she's given, she is definitely a player that has high aspirations.
Sure.
She's hungry. She wants to be and wants to win a Grand Slam, and this is one of those tournaments that kind of suits her game.
She's got that big serve.
The serve does well. The surface is not too fast, especially in those indoor courts now.
Yeah.
And she just seems to have a different approach. And like I said, Iga was her biggest adversary because she could match her power as well as outmaneuver her. Sabalenka is going to bring the power, and she's got power off both sides. The big serve just hits out on everything. But now she doesn't have anyone really in her way. She just took out an informal Belinda Bencic. Again, Belinda played well, not only from the Billie Jean King Cup last year, leading Switzerland to a win.
Well, she's a tough out.
But she actually led the same team in the United Cup to surprising results until they met up with the United States.
Let's see.
So to take out Belinda Bencic, that's impressive. In straight sets. Not to say that it wasn't expected, because Ariana can definitely out-hit you. She's bringing it on both sides, and it says, what's our favorite saying?
What is our favorite saying?
Our favorite saying is, taking names and chewing bubble gum, and we're all out of gum.
All out of gum. Yeah.
So, she is definitely one of those few remaining players. But outside of those two, from Pegula and Sabalenka, I like Rybakina's game.
Yeah, she's
she's
catching fire
definitely
again.
tough. She's catching fire
she
again.
Kind of reminds me like at Wimbledon.
Yeah,
she's like people came out of
nowhere.
Out of nowhere. This time she really didn't come out of nowhere, but she has kind of been like as for a Wimbledon champion, nobody's really talking about her. But I was like, this girl can play.
Yeah,
somebody needs to talk about it. You better recognize it.
And it'll go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just saying she's got a big game too, and so she is definitely in the mix that could definitely win this tournament. Yeah, she gets on the roll like she did at Wimbledon. It was to watch out for.
I absolutely agree. It's going to be interesting to see how she plays against Ostapenko, who again can hit another Grand Slam winner, can hit the ball.
She took out my girl Golf. I mean, she just powered her off the court.
And that's just one of those things, Coco's got to be able to match that intensity.
Yes. Yeah. She will. She's learned. She's gonna learn from this. That's the thing about her. Her losses like that they're gonna go back.
Right.
Her team's gonna work on it. She's got that. She's gonna figure it out. So I think the next time they meet, she'll be ready, no doubt.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed because I love to see the American players play well.
Yeah. Got so many of them out there this year, which is really great, and so we're hoping to see some more fire, some more heat. We got you have Pegula in the singles, but she's also teamed up with Golf.
With Golf in the doubles, right? And they're progressing,
looking very good.
Yeah.
Looking very good, and so it's we still going. We'll see. We'll see I think we'll see an American in a final or two. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
and then we got you have Desiree Krawczyk, who is the mixed doubles. She was on the United Cup, but she's like her. She's got some Grand Slam mixed doubles titles, and people. She's always under the wire, but whoever she teams up with, they're a good team, especially in mixed doubles. She gets to find that right male player, but she's that type. She complements them because she volleys well, and all those things, and also who's Taylor Townsend is in the doubles.
I forgot who she's. I know she did real well with. She actually won a tournament with. This wasn't recently, but she won a tournament with Madison Keys.
Okay.
But she's still in the doubles.
She's still in the doubles. Yeah. So it'd be good to see. I love seeing her. We'd like to see her coming in, volleying, serving volley game, old school tennis. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to take up too much time since we're gonna come back to a wrap up cast on the Australian Open.
Yes.
But so let's leave a little bit on the table, and for our next podcast we can talk about how close our predictions were.
Right.
We thought we were going to do what.
Yeah.
We'll see if Novak picks up number 22.
Yeah.
To get one more closer to Nadal.
Right.
And see who surprises on the women's side.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. You got a prediction?
On the women's side, I don't have a prediction. I just, I have my favorites, and I'd like to see a Pegula Sabalenka final. And of course, on the men's side, whoever can come out of that Rublev Novak match is probably going to be the favorite to win from the bottom half of the draw. It's kind of hard to see who's going to actually win on the top half. You've got Kachanov playing Korda. You've got Tsitsipas playing. I don't know exactly who. Let me check. Tsitsipas is playing. Lehecka. So that's going to be.
Yep.
And again, whoever wins that Rublev Novak match is going to have they're going to be favored over Ben Shelton or Tommy Paul, either one. Right. So,
but my prediction is this: somebody unknown will be in this. Somebody we are not expecting is going to be in this final.
On
the men's side.
On the men's side.
On the women's side, we're going to have somebody
who's going to have
two first time. That is my prediction. We're going to have two first-time finalists.
Okay.
At Australia, first-time Grand Slam finalists, not just first. We're going to have one in the women's and at least one in the women's, and in the men's.
That sounds like you're
one in the men's, definitely at least one in the possibly two in the women's.
Okay. Well, that sounds like you're predicting that Novak's going to get to the final.
Hard to, I can't vote. It's hard to pick against him, man. I mean, anything can happen, but I think at least one, there's going to be somebody who's going to be in their first Grand Slam final in the men's side, and possibly two first Grand Slam finalists in the women's side.
Okay. So that means if there are two, that means we're going to have a new Grand Slam winner.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see.
Okay.
I just threw that out there.
Okay.
I threw that plane. It'll probably come back and hit me in the face, but that's all
boomerang,
good.
Right?
Boomerang. That's right. Australia. That's right.
Okay. Well, pretty good. So that should wrap it up for this episode, our first episode of 2023.
I'm telling you.
So,
it's an exciting time because for tennis junkies out there, and you know who you are,
right?
We get excited at Australia. It's like Christmas ends, and I'm not really depressed because, man, Australian Open is coming
right around the corner.
Oh, Grand Slam season about to start. So it just, to me, it's like an extension of Christmas.
There you go. We get more and more presents.
More and more presents. That's right. Watching some great tennis.
All right. Well, again, thanks very much, fans. Thanks for letting us back into your household at the beginning of the new year. Yes. So this time next week, hopefully we will see you again. And like we always say, go hit a tennis ball.
Go play some tennis.
All right.
Thank you. All right.